16, I wanted to die. Now I'm 22 and sometimes I still want to. Only I'm afraid to try to. No one understands. You don't understand what it feels like to live in this body. This body is a vessel, struggling to contain all of my pain. I have a lot of pain, more than you realize, more than one's shoulders could bear. See, it started when I was 5, 6, 7. I watched my family feud, and there was nothing I could do as a child. As a child, surrounded by so much anger. At 9, I fell in love with dancing. But fat kids don't dance, they said. I was body shamed, and their words cut me deeper than knives could on bare skin, and I've held on to those scars for years. Just long enough to starve myself at age 12. At age 12, I ate only what was necessary to feel skinny. Thinking maybe I can just shed off the memories. At 16, I wanted to die. And now I'm 22 and sometimes I still want to. Only I'm afraid to try to. Would you miss me if I did? Would you feel sorry for bullying me like you did? Would you? I know that I will get better. I'm not sure when or how, but I will. One day.
Yep, good evening everybody. Hope we're all ready for another action-packed race. Looking very cloudy here today. I think there is some rain expected in the first couple of stints, I believe. We will wait and see. So yeah, could be some thrills and spills here today. Okay, yep. So as oversteers is just amending the audio situation. So we shall see. So we see Larson takes pole here then today. Curious takes second, and we've got Hammer manages to take third.
Hello, hello? Alright, I think I can be heard now. Yeah, so I just introduced everybody to the stream, but nobody could hear. So yeah, welcome to the stream. It's the penultimate round, and championship for the drivers has been decided already, but we're still fighting for the constructors title. Yep, let me know, by the way, let me know if the sound is okay. It seems a bit off, I think.
Yeah, so as we waiting now to load into the formation lap. You can see our grid in front of you there. So we have Larson, Correas to Hammer. Sassanidis is on 4th position there. Futuristic, Icewind and Joel, and Ace Boy rounds out the top 8.
Oh, that's going to be very interesting. There's some really quick guys at the back who I assume invalidated their lap. It's really easy to cut these corners in Canada. So going to be a lot of action in the race.
That's right, we've got Pretorius and Crystals down there, just to name a few, and we do indeed have rain.
Yes, seems like a wet start to the race today.
Rain in Canada. I'm so happy this didn't happen during the F1 league that I'm in. But yeah, this should be exciting. I'm very much looking forward to this.
Well, I can tell you that much. There's nicer tracks to drive in the rain. Canada, these chicanes, yeah, very tricky in the dry because you have to be careful not to cut these corners, and in the wet you have to take them really slowly. Just be careful not to hit a wall either. And I can't imagine it being easy in these F2 cars.
That's it. As if these F2 cars weren't understeery enough as it is. They have rain to add into there now as well. So we set off on the formation lap, the hardest lap of the race, especially so when it's raining. Let's see how many people make it to the start.
And we have everybody on the full wet tires, so definitely a lot of rain coming down here.
Yep. Well, I think we only do have wet tires available, do we?
Oh yeah, we've had this again. We've had this before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they don't have intermediates. They only have the normal wet tires available to them.
To clarify, we are F1 drivers, and this is why we have next to no idea of what we're talking about. Nah, for real. I think we're slowly learning.
What we do know though is Larson taking pole here and starting from P1 is definitely going to help. It's definitely going to help High Tech in the constructors championship.
Oh,
these 4 points. Yeah,
spin outs already there at the back.
There's 2 cars very far back.
Oh, and another one. Who's that? That's Correas. Janice Correas managed to spin out.
Done. Another one bites the grass, I assume.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, and he's been disqualified.
Formation lap.
That's gonna hurt him from P2. He's gonna have really cold tires, especially in the rain. It's already hard enough to get the heat into the tires, so this isn't gonna help him for the race, that's for sure.
Yeah, the start's going to be the most interesting bit, especially coming into what's essentially immediately a near 90-degree left-hand bend with then a 180-degree hairpin immediately after it. So traction is going to be key around there, and being ever so gentle on the throttle to, not spin yourself out so early on in the race.
Yeah, and I think this might even be a bit dangerous here at the start because I kind of have the feeling that not too many of these drivers have practiced in the wet for this race, and they're going to have to find the right braking point into turn 1.
Yeah, this is going to be a challenge. There's no doubt about it.
Right, we now have the last car going through the chicane, not hitting the wall of champions yet, but we'll have to see in the race if anybody does.
So here we go. Buckle up, everyone. This is going to be interesting. We wait now for the lights. I think we are just about there. Yep, here we go. The lights are coming on now. 5 lights on. Everyone's ready, and we're away. Slowly and carefully. Larson looks like he's got a very good start. Janice Correas has got a good start next to him as well, and the Hammer's still up there with them all as well. There's a couple of mix-ups at the back there. I think we're going 3 or 4 wide coming into the first corner. Larson's run very wide on the right-hand hairpin there, which has allowed Correas to get out in front now.
Oh, and I'm seeing end plates. I'm seeing end plates fly everywhere.
Yeah, lots of contact in the back there by the look of it. It's so easy done as well in these conditions. Oh, Janice Correas is sliding all over the place, but somehow hanging on to that lead still as we see a couple of guys going wide there as well into this next chicane.
Oh, as we see Derhammer spin. That's Derhammer from P2. Well, he's going to have to let everybody get past here.
So yeah, second victim of the track so far. There's another car going very slowly at the back there. I think that's Zod, who must have got caught up in that carnage at the very first corner there. So Correas so far still holding the lead as we speak. Sassanides has managed to get up into second from 4th, so he's had a nice jump up. Icewind is right up there in 3rd as well. So yeah, these guys had a very good start by the look of it. Already, I think there's a bit of a gap forming as well, just behind Icewind. It's not very well. It's not huge yet, but it's definitely Icewind looks like it's going to go for a move on Sassanides down the outside, or what will be the outside coming into the chicane by the Wall of Champions.
Yeah, seems to have some really good speed here on the straight, and he's already passed Sassanides as they go into the last turn. I think there might be wing damage for Sassanides actually. I think he's missing a good. Yeah, he's missing a good bit of his end plate there. Yeah, so definitely wing damage there.
Decides to stay out though. Interesting. know, especially in these conditions, I think downforce is something you probably want. The front end on that car is going to feel really, really light now. Zod is pitting at the minute for the damage that he got at the very start there. As we see another spin at the back there. I think that's George. Yep, and another spin slightly further up from that as well. Who's that? That's Gerla's had a bit of a spin there as well. So, yeah, very tricky race conditions here.
Meanwhile, a bit further up, we have Pretorius making moves already. He's gained 5 places after the first lap, and well, after the first lap and a bit. And ooh, Futuristic just lost the position to D. Sachenidis. So even with wing damage, he's taking positions here, or maybe just defending and taking them back as everybody else is getting closer.
I say this is working out perfectly for Koreas and Iceman now, who are able to build a firm gap now as Sassanidis heads the slower train around the hairpin.
Somebody else said this has worked out really well. Ooh.
Somebody's very sideways there coming out the hairpin.
There was Futuristic and McKenna. They went too wide there, and both of them had a bit of a moment there, but they managed to catch it pretty easily. McKender is one of the really big winners of this race start. He's gained 11 positions already, up from P15 to P4 now, and
of course,
he's
fighting for he's fighting for second right now as well in the championship with his teammate Dragon. So yep, he's in a very good position here. I think he currently leads that battle for second position. So this will be a
and he's also taking P3 there.
Oh god, it looks oh so slippy out there though. Every single corner we're seeing them sliding around. Somebody else has gone around at the first hairpin there.
I think Sachenidis is staying out with his wing damage. It's not that much damage from what it looks like. He has lost an end plate, but I think he can stay out with that. Especially in the rain, it doesn't make that much of a difference.
That was a reset to track from Zod. I almost wish I hadn't seen that. I think we can let him off though, he's so far back. But yeah, having had a wing change there, just spins it on the hairpin. That's unfortunate for him.
Meanwhile, Pretorius is getting past Joel.
Yeah, these guys are getting very bunched up now in this midfield.
However, Joel is not ready to give it up yet. Joel is trying to make a move into the hairpin, staying behind for now, but maybe he'll make a move on the straight instead.
Oh, we see Nico Rosbach coming down the inside of Dragon on the hairpin. A little bit of squiggling there as he struggles to get the power down. He
yeah, a lot of
position
squiggling
again, and Crystal's manages to get past him as well.
Yeah, and that might even give Tipsy Bob a chance to overtake here. He's still a bit behind, but he's definitely getting a lot closer now.
They'll have to be careful, teammates of course, these two, so don't want any incidents between... Oh, somebody's... Oh, it was looking very drifty there from Dragon coming around.
Ooh, talking about drifting! That's Larson!
And he's hit the wall as well.
Yep, that's a half a wing gone, and he's gonna have to pit for that damage for sure.
That's a long lap to do without a wing.
Icewind has gotten really close to Janice Correas for the lead. So those two do have a bit of a gap back to McKender, but McKender has had a good chance to catch up here because these two at the front have been fighting a bit. And now Icewind right behind Janice Correas.
Yeah, absolutely, so this race very much hotting up then, so action straight off the get-go here. That gap is closing rapidly now between Icewind and Correas, as you say. Oh, it's almost like he's pushing him around the edge. Oh, he has to cut the corner though. I think he outbraked himself slightly there. Maybe a bit of overspeed with the slipstream.
Yeah, it was extremely close at the end of that half straight there. And just had to be a bit more careful not to hit him in the back. And now McKender is right on his tail.
See Tipsy Bob picking up the first penalty of the race here today. Oh, Correa's had a little bit of a wiggle coming out onto the start, well, the main straight down the back here, which I think might allow Icewind to have a run, but he needs to be careful because McKender is right there.
Yeah, everybody seems to be struggling out of the hairpin. Seems to be really hard to get the foot down there and keep the traction.
We see George has had a spin down in the hairpin now as well.
Icewind trying to, well, maybe he's thinking about making a move here, but not quite close enough. And McKender takes the outside here because Icewind is not going to let him past.
Yeah, you can see everybody struggling to just try and get that power down as smoothly as possible. As you see Gerla picking up a time penalty there as well. Now there's another.
Oh, Icewind!
Finish straight.
Icewind almost lost the car there, almost hit a wall, but he managed to catch it and only lost the position to McKender. and McKender is now in hot pursuit of Janice Correas for P1.
We're seeing a lot of spins and incidents towards the back of the grid there. The guys coming wide. I think Garl is the latest victim of that, now just tapping the wall on the start-finish straight and costing him a wing there. And Correas picks up a time penalty now.
In P1, while defending from McKender, of course. Yeah, seems that McKender is really putting down the pressure here. Really trying to make Janice Correas to push him into a mistake. And that's exactly what happened here.
Again, another little wiggle there from McKender, this time coming off the hairpin. That's, all these little split seconds will count in allowing the guy chasing to catch up. So we see Larson leaving the session now. Hope he's not got any connectivity issues.
By the way, do you think that the track is maybe starting to look a bit less wet here? I feel like there's not too much rain coming down.
I don't see any rain. Yeah, I think you're right. So we might be seeing some pit stops for dry weather tyres then. We're on lap 6 at the minute. In fact, there's guys pitting now. We've got Joel, Rosspot, Tipsy Bob, Futuristics and Crystals are all in the pit lane.
And we also have McKender making a move for the lead.
And they do indeed. Softs, yeah, you called that absolutely perfect.
Oh no, Icewind is right behind.
McKender,
yeah, McKender made a little mistake. He tried to overtake Janice Correas, but then had to take a bad line through the next chicane, and now Icewind is really close to them again. And it's going to be really interesting to watch these cars at the back on the softs.
All aboard the pit lane train at the minute, as everybody's jumping onto soft tyres as quick as they can. This will be crucial then. Everybody that's still on the wet tyre will be watching to see what kind of times the guys on the soft scan. As we see a move being made at the front there, that's...
McKender taking the inside here into the hairpin, but braking just that little bit earlier. Maybe he got a better exit here though, because Janice Correas is going all the way around the outside.
There's a big slide there again from McKender though on the way off, and another one from Icewind as well, a little bit of a wiggle there too. You see yellow flags in the first sector, somebody's spun around there. That's Crystals this time, having a little moment. No damage for him, he looks like he's getting underway okay.
Yeah, so Crystal...
Oh no, and McKender picks up a speeding penalty in the pit lane.
Yeah, so almost everybody's now pulling into the pits. Pretorius is staying out, but I think he might have disconnected actually.
Yeah, we'll try and get him in
oh no, he's back now. I don't know, he keeps ghosting and not ghosting. Not exactly sure what's happening. McKender is going onto the super softs. He's going for a bit of an interesting strategy here. Maybe he's hoping that it's going to start raining again, or he can
last till the end of the race.
I don't know, but just going by the fact that everybody else is picking up the soft side, I feel like they might not last that long.
I wonder if this is a gamble then. This is yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out on that. See, there's another yellow flag towards the end of sector 2 there. I think that might be Crystals again. Yeah, Crystals has front wing damage now. It's unfortunate for him. He'll be pitting. See Rosspot picking up a penalty now as well.
Meanwhile, Dragon has taken the race lead from Pretorius' spot, which was to be expected, but those two, some of the last drivers that are still on the wet tires. And we have McKender trying to make moves again, but Janice Correas isn't giving up that position quite yet. Icewind has lost about 2 seconds in the pits. He's
DRS is
made a bit of a gap here. Oh, it is. So definitely a good time to be on the dry tires now.
So Larson was on wets, fresh wets by the look of it there. Now I wonder if that was his AI during the time that he was disconnected from the game, as he's just reconnected, and I'm guessing, and has had to quickly dive in there for some softs. You see Dragon now pitting for his softs, presumably. I think Pretorius is right behind him. He is.
McKender is now fully past Janice Correas, but they're still in the straight, and Janice Correas could make a move back here.
Wets.
Oh, that's probably not the best choice right now.
I think we're seeing a couple of mishaps over the tyre selections on pit entry there.
Dragon now pulls into the pits. Well, he's pulled into the pits a bit, just a bit ago. But he's now pulling out of the pits, and he's up into P5.
Yeah, so he's actually made a really good jump then from his starting position.
Somebody's off track, I think. That's Crystal, maybe?
A big moment there coming around the corner.
Alright, I'm now gonna watch Dragon, who's catching up to Ace Boy here, already within a 1 second window, and ready to overtake on the next big straight, I assume.
Just trying to keep an eye on Makendo just to see how big of a gap he can pull to the guys behind him. As you see yellow flags at the Wall of Champions. Who's that? That is Max Spilz this time. Has had a spin of something. He comes into the pits there. Oh, and there's another yellow flag at the end of Sector 2 now. Some more drama going on down there.
Yes, that's one of the, not racing points, one of the pink cars. I think that might have been Icewind. I think Icewind lost a bit of time there. Yeah, that's Icewind. Icewind definitely got a big gap now to the 2 cars in front. He was pretty close to those 2, but now... well, I'm not seeing the intervals right now, but...
Oh, and there's another yellow flag on the start-finish straight.
It is Larson, but I think he was about to be lapped anyway. And Dragon just took took P4 from Ace Boy right on the start-finish straight.
There's some more position changes going on further down as well. Saxonides comes down past Joel. Somebody went straight on the corner there.
Oh, Saxonides?
Larson, actually. It is Larson just getting out of the way rather sensibly.
Joel's still fighting back for this position, taking the outside line here into the chicane. And now he has the inside on the second turn. They're still side by side down this...
And Pretorius is coming in there to try and make it 3 wide almost.
Joel still keeps the position for now, and now Pretorius is trying to get past Saxonides.
Of course, DRS is now enabled as well, so they will have DRS down this back straight.
Yeah, Joel got a really good position there at the detection point, because he managed to get the DRS and also be ahead. Oh, now Pretorius... Oh, Pretorius is lagging around for me a bit, but he seems like he's taking the position now from Saxonides as they head into the hairpin.
It's not over yet.
Oh, that's contact!
Oh, it sends them both wide. Saxonides loses out the worst there. He puts himself well off track, but Pretorius also having to try and recover from earlier spin. As Icewind picks up a penalty now as well.
It almost looked like he was just going straight on, but surely there's got to be wing damage now, right?
I just hope that the that lag we saw with Pretorius didn't have anything to do with it. It does look like Saxonides doesn't have any wing damage, so he's got away with that somehow.
I think it might have just been the lag. I think he might have been glitching around the track, and they might have not actually touched for them at least.
It does seem rather odd. Larson picking up a speeding penalty there in the pit lane. That's so easy avoidable. We see these speeding penalties so often. Okay, it was a retirement on this occasion, but yeah, we see the speeding penalties coming in quite frequently in the pit lanes, and they're so avoidable.
Their hammer is now touching the grass in some places here, trying to defend from Pretorius. Pretorius still glitching around a bit, but also very close to their hammer.
Just have a quick peek. Our leader at the minute, Makendo, has managed to pull a 2.5 second gap on Korea, so those super softs working very well for him. It's just a question of how long for.
The only other car on the super softs right now is Crystal, who's in last position right now on track. Oh, Pretorius is now driving through other cars.
See the position change there. I think that was Hammer. Did Hammer manage to come past Pretorius? That was a bit strange, as you say, a bit of desync there maybe.
Yeah, definitely seems like it. And both of those guys are catching up to Joel. Their hammer now with DRS really close to him. And trying to maybe make a move here to also keep Pretorius behind at the same time.
Blue flags are being shown there for someone. I'm trying to figure out who that is.
Oh, those 3 guys really close here. Almost 3 wide into turn 1. No, okay, their hammer has just lost out. I think Pretorius might have confused him a bit there. And Pretorius lets him go past again, so...
Is it possible that there is some desync here? Because there's blue flags being waved for these 3 cars, and I can't see anybody that's lapped to be there. They're all fighting for position.
Yeah, I think it might be Pretorius. He seems to have lost connection earlier, and now his car is just driving through other cars, so I think he might be desynced to the others.
Hopefully the timing board will keep us right.
Meanwhile, out in front, Janice Correa has caught up 2 tenths on Makender, so maybe these super softs aren't lasting very long here.
Yeah, you're right. They might be starting to wear off then already. I would have thought they maybe lasted a little bit longer than that, but yeah, it did seem a bit of an odd choice, I must say.
Sachinidis now in P9 catching back up to Pretorius after hitting him in the back, at least on our screens. He's going to try to get closer to these guys, and he's already getting the DRS off Pretorius. And he's going to try to make a move here. Down the start-finish straight. He's now ahead by... Well, not anymore. Now Pretorius has jumped next to their hammer. Oh!
A quick time warp there. Oh, and there's a spin. That's Pretorius around, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, and it seems like he actually did go around there. So back down to P9 for Pretorius then. As Joel picks up a 3-second penalty. There's a lot of penalties on the board right now. I'm actually going to check out how big these penalties are for a second. So we have Makender and Janis Correas with 8 seconds each in the lead. Right behind them, Icewind currently still in the window to take P2 with only 3 seconds of penalties. Dragon behind him also 3 seconds. Aceboy the only one in the top 5 who doesn't have any penalties. Then behind that still 3-second penalties, lots of them, all the way down the grid.
So yeah, a late safety car would play into Aceboy's hands brilliantly right now then.
And Pretorius too, he might be desynced, but he still doesn't have a penalty yet. And he's still racing these other guys.
Yeah, he's still being shown the blue flag as he goes around, which is strange, despite being surrounded by guys that he's racing for position. I'm just thinking back to a practice session I did fairly recently where I disconnected from Steam. I think Steam crashed completely. And when I got back in, I was shown to be a lap down, and I was being blue flagged for everybody despite not having been a lap down. It was very odd. But I think, unfortunately, the timing board actually counted it, so I hope that's not going to be the case for Pretorius, because in that case he's essentially running in a lapped position due to a glitch.
Yeah. The only real close cars that we have right now, at least within the DRS window, are these 3 guys still battling it out here for P6, 7 and 8, Joel, Hammer, and Sachinidis.
We also have a close fight a minute further down for 10th and 11th as we see Nico Rosbach getting ever closer to Futuristic.
Oh
Almost
yeah,
like
he's
going to
really
go for a
there.
dive there. They're coming onto the DRS straight now in the back. Don't think he's quite got the runoff to do. Rosbach having a peek there on Futuristic, decides against it and slots back in behind him.
And Crystal
Crystals is retired. Yeah.
We have their hammer within 2/10 of Joel here, down the main straight, and he's got the DRS. He's gonna go past pretty easily here. He's gonna take the position before the chicane, and also take a 3-second time penalty. Well,
we just saw Icewind picking up a penalty just before that as well. So yeah, loads of penalties rolling in now.
Meanwhile, Nico Rosbach still behind Futuristic after the main straight, but still really close and getting that DRS on every single straight.
Yeah, once again, it doesn't look like he's quite close enough. I mean, he thinks about it, and then yeah, he's just not quite got the speed to do the job there. Sun's starting to shine out, which is great. You see two penalties coming in back to back there. One for Saxonidis, and I think the other one was for Joel. If I missed that, I'm not sure if I missed that. We've got a yellow flag in the DRS zone. That's Saxonidis, just as we say there about him picking up the penalty. He's lost part of his wing, so it's a trip to the pits for him.
Meanwhile, Dragon has caught up really fast to Icewind. I don't know when that happened, but he's now within half a second and catching on the main straight. Oh, and Icewind is going a lot slower here on that main straight. He's going past extremely easily, so Dragon now up into P3 in the podium positions for now. But that might still change depending on the penalty situation later on.
Yeah, I wonder if that was a tactical slowing there to get a better entry and subsequent exit then on the chicane there on the start-finish straight.
Yeah, and he made sure to get that DRS as well, so he's gotten past with the DRS and kept the DRS for the main straight. Actually, I think that might be the same detection point, so never mind that.
You see some couple of guys very close to each other coming across the start-finish straight. That's Max Spiltz and George having a wonderful battle there for last position. Max Spiltz manages to go down the inside. He now has to try and make it around the outside of George on this first corner. It looks like he's got the job done.
Oh, they're still side by side, still fighting.
Oh, I think he's run wide there as well.
Yep.
Yep.
That's
Kind of, oh, and that
flexible,
costs.
so
Oh,
they
mind
know.
you, he's getting lapped now, isn't he?
Meanwhile, Nico Rosberg getting ever so closer to Futuristic. He's got a really good exit out of there, and now he's got the DRS. But so did Futuristic. He got the DRS off some lap car. That's going to help him defend for one more lap.
There's a lot of curb he just took there. I wonder
And
if he picked up a
McKender
warning
into
for
the
that.
pits. McKender couldn't hold on those super softs. So maybe not the best strategy there.
Oh, I think that may have cost him. I wonder if that was. Oh, he's going on to super softs again.
Yeah, I'd
so he's got
expect so.
4 laps now to sprint it to the end, but of course he's serving a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane earlier
Oh.
as well. He's going to tumble down the leaderboards here.
Yeah, that definitely cost him a lot. If he had gone to the soft tires, he would have probably still been in the top 3 for now.
Yeah, but I think so. So he slots himself back up to 8th position there, it's shown as. Which I think is correct. I'm
Yes.
just trying to pay attention to Pretorius's weirdness, desync or what have you.
Talking about Pretorius, it's now McKender's job to catch up to Pretorius and possibly overtake him, but McKender still has a time penalty, while Pretorius doesn't, so that might not last for too long. And it's definitely going to be a tough task to catch up 5 seconds to the championship leader here.
Absolutely. You see, Nico Rosberg has got a run on Futuristic now. He's going for it, I think. He's down the inside. He's done it as well. Massive overspeed past him. Manages to get it slowed down in time for the next corner.
But now
he's left the
Futuristic
door
is
open now. Yep.
looking to get that slipstream as well down this half straight.
He's all over the back of Rosberg now, isn't he? Oh, and Rosberg's
Oh,
gone
he
wide.
runs really wide. Yes, and that's going to be the DRS for Futuristic as well, because the detection point is before that.
I think Rosberg did get a good run though out of that hairpin though. It does seem to get a bit of a nicer line when you take it quite wide, and of course Futuristic was forced to go on the inside line there, so Rosberg will just be dragged down now this DRS straight.
Oh, but he got a really good exit out of there, I think. This might not be over yet, but Futuristic still has the DRS to defend with.
So Rosberg will have to do all that hard work all over again. Very even racing for them both on 11 lap old softs as well, so yeah.
We'll take a quick look at the penalties again. We still have Janis Correas in the lead, but he has got 8 seconds of penalties, so if Dragon can stay within 5 seconds here, that's going to be P1 for him for now. As I say that, Dragon just drops out of that 5-second window. Icewood behind them also has 6 seconds, and then Aceboy behind those guys might still be in for a podium here. If he catches up just a tiny bit to Icewind, he's going to be in a good position to take P3.
As we just see this, I think Rosberg had a bit of a wiggle there in one of the corners. That's cost him a substantial amount of time now to Futuristic. He's now half a second down. That gap is slowly increasing, so this is a chance for Futuristic to try and break out that DRS window. Of course, Rosberg will have it for this lap, so he will be able to close that gap just a touch.
Oh,
And
Futuristic
straight to
goes
the
into the
pits.
pits.
Yeah.
Interesting. And also a 5-second penalty. I think he did have a big penalty already, so it's not going to make that much of a difference, but I'm not sure why he pulled into the pits here.
I wonder if that was an attempt to break the stalemate, but yeah, you're right, it is a bit of an odd choice so close to the end. There's only 2 laps left in this race. He is switching onto the super softs, mind you, and he hasn't actually lost that much in terms of actual track position.
Oh, you're right,
so
he might actually
I wonder if that's
stay in
why he's
P10
done
here.
this. Yeah.
But in that case, the 5-second penalty that he just got might just hurt him a bit more than we thought. Sachinidis in front of him has a 12-second penalty. He himself has 11 seconds. Oh, and
he's
they're
gonna be
battling
side by
out of the
side.
pits, yes.
Yeah.
Both of them on pretty fresh super softs here as well.
So Futuristic going on the outside of the first corner and then
There
inside
was
the
a
second.
bit of a bump
just
there.
taps the wall there on the way out.
Yeah, I think Futuristic might have tapped him into the wall a slight bit.
He does have damage, so Safsnidis is missing his right end plate now after that. I'd imagine he'll just opt to carry that damage to the end of the race now.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine him pitting. Because he doesn't have the big gap behind him that Futuristic did when he pitted. but Sachanidas hanging on pretty well here with the wing damage.
Oh, and Pretorius picks up a penalty.
Yeah, he didn't have one before,
there's
so...
contact as well between Saxonidis and Futuristic there. Just nudging the back of him into the hairpin. No damage between either of them, and I don't think either of them have lost much in the way of time, so they got away with that.
Meanwhile, you have Tipsy Bob making a move on radios here on the main straight.
And
Oh, and Dennis Correas is
down.
Yeah, I think that might have been a spin.
Yep. No damage, so he's got away with that just, but yeah, lucky boy.
Well, not that lucky maybe, because both Ace Boy and Der Hammer may be in a position here to take P3 from him because of the time penalties.
Yeah, we're getting to... Oh, his Dragon just picks up another 3-second time penalty as well.
Yeah, that's a lot of penalties here at the front, so Ace Boy is still in a really good position. If both Der Hammer and Ace Boy can catch up a bit more here, then they're in a really good position to take some of these places back from them.
So we are on the final lap now.
It really happens so quickly
these penalties
here.
are going to be the decider. Yeah, it's a surprisingly quick track, isn't it? Or rather, a surprisingly short track. It doesn't feel like it. It looks big, but yeah, the lap times are actually not all that long, or not as long as you might expect.
So currently Ace Boy still within an 8-second window of Janis Correas, but Janis Correas is catching up to the cars in front, so he doesn't want to give up the position yet.
So I think the top two will remain as is if we finish in this order.
For
I
now,
think
yes.
Correas will lose. Am I right in saying that? Correas
Ooh, Zachanita's taking the fastest lap with a broken wing. That's a feat. And he doesn't even have the freshest tires on the track right now. Still fighting Futuristic here, but he did get another 3-second time penalty with his wing damage.
Yep, as Dragon crosses the line to take victory here at Canada, weaving left and right and celebrating as he goes. Icewind will pick up the second position.
Ace Boy extremely close to that 8-second window. Ace Boy might just take P4 here. Oh, he takes P3!
Oh, and he does. Wow. He jumps really far up.
Yeah, he's taking
Incredible.
a podium here. Awesome. Yeah, he did a good job to stay close to these cars in front, and not getting a penalty really paid off here. Yeah, so also
controlled drive there from Ace Boy. That was incredibly well done. Pretorius manages to jump up into 6th position.
yeah, I think he gained 2 positions from that as well. Meanwhile, Joel lost a bit of lost a few positions there to the time penalty. Ooh, Zacharias is still fighting Futuristic here into the last turn. But Zacharias picks up another penalty there at the end. It doesn't matter. He's going to stay down there in P11 for now.
Leaves Rados and Tipsy Bob to round out the little group here. So yeah, that was an incredible drive by Ace Boy then. Where did he start again?
Yeah. Wait, can I actually show that still? Ace Boy started in P8, yeah. Midfield definitely. But
that was a very good drive from him then. Very clean, no penalties, and then able to take advantage of everyone else's penalties. That was really good effort.
here, Dragon takes the driver of the day from the game, which makes sense given how he came from P17 to the race victory.
Yeah, he's had a wonderful drive as well. That will eat into the lead that McKenda currently has in that battle for second position.
Yeah, I think he might actually be ahead now.
I can't remember exactly what the points were, but it was close, so yeah, I think he might be right.
Actually, not quite yet, but he's going to be close. He's going to be close to P2 in the championship standings now.
So here are our results then. Dragon taking victory from 17th position, as you say. So yeah, phenomenal drive from him. Icewind managed to hold it nice and clean there for second position. Ace Boy with that amazing jump at the very end there. No penalties whatsoever. That was a phenomenal drive from him.
Yeah, a lot of drivers here.
There. Yep, so go on.
I think a lot of drivers here were hurt by the speeding penalties in the pit lane.
Yeah, there are quite a lot of those
Lots
today,
of
weren't
5-second penalties. Even just the drivers who already served them in the pits definitely lost a bit of time there, and lost some points in some cases as well. But
Kender actually stealing the fastest lap back from, I think it was Sassanides, wasn't it, with the wing damage?
I think there might have been a bug though. I don't think that was the fastest lap.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but I thought so as well. So Joel might actually be happy about those penalties at the end, because he manages to take P8 in the feature race, which means he's going to be on pole for the sprint race now.
Yep, so the sprint race now allows us to introduce an old friend. As we see Ocean Chief picks up the last position on the grid. So,
Oh, interesting.
as he announces into the chat, "Watch me die." So hopefully not, but yes, Chief now joins us in the race here. Looking cloudy again. I'm not entirely sure whether we're going to have rain again for this race. I think it's highly likely. But yeah, we wait for the drivers to load into the session, and then we'll get the formation lap underway.
Well, it's not going to be a wet start into the race this time. At least at the start we're going to be dry, but there might still be rain coming for us pretty soon. We don't actually have a weather report, so we might just take a quick look at the clouds and see if they can tell us
Oh, there's
anything.
a spin already.
That was quick.
Did not take long. Who was that? I think that's George.
I don't think so. Oh, actually it is. Yep, never mind.
Yep, he's currently... Oh, okay, he's disqualified and starts with cold tyres on the grid.
At least he manages to get them a bit warmed up with that spin. At least the rear should be. Yeah, but definitely not the optimal way to start this race.
No, unfortunately only managing to make a couple hundred yards there.
So
not
quite
the best
interesting.
start.
Quite interesting for the starting grid here. We do have McKendra in P2 and Pretorius in P3, so those guys have worked their way up to the front of the grid here after starting really far down in the sprint in the feature race. But Joel taking pole position, and he's going to try to hang on to that for as long as possible.
Joel leads us round now, just down the back straight here. Just noticing Ocean Chief Sword and Larson kind of falling back a little bit there. They do seem to be catching up again, but...
Pretorius has just gone straight on past everybody.
Huh?
Oh, and Dennis Guerreras does the same. Interesting. Well, for the tires, by the way, we have everybody on the red soft, which is the harder compound here. Everybody on the harder compound here for the sprint race. So everybody trying to make it to the end on just one set, of course. Which, given from what we've seen in the feature race, might be a good choice. As I think everybody's now pulling into their grid slot, and we're almost ready to go.
So race number 2 then, here we go.
And for the sprint race we have one light. They're all going on those lights. And they're out, and we're ready to go. Pretty good start from Joel at the front. I think McKendra also got a good start. Bit of a bad start for Jaherma, I think. Not optimal at least, but I'm not sure if he lost any positions from that.
2 end plates already off. One from towards the back of the grid and one from slightly further down the front as we come into the first corner there.
McKendra really close here to Joel, trying to take that race lead right at the start. Pretorius still fighting right behind them as well.
There's a spin at the back. That's who's that? I can't find out who that is. That was Max Spiltz and Tipsy Bob. I think they had a bit of a touchdown spun, and there's some more end plate further down the track there as well. So I think there's quite a few drivers. They're probably carrying damage now already.
Meanwhile, Pretorius trying to have a look at McKendra for P2 here. McKendra dropping back just a slight bit from Joel because he's under attack and he has to defend here. Janus Correas is dropping back by quite a bit actually. These guys here starting to build 2 groups here. Everything from P1 to P5, and then everybody behind them is quite a bit back and fighting each other.
Dragon, one of the unlucky ones there, carrying front wing damage. His right end plate is currently missing. So that explains why there's a bit of a gap there.
McKendra is almost close enough to make a move here for the lead of the race. but hasn't quite made it yet.
Icewind looks like he was going for a move there. I think he's still thinking about it.
Oh, McKendry taking the inside, almost hitting Joel there, but manages to keep it clean for now, and now McKendry has the inside line.
Further down the grid, we're still seeing this fight between Icewind and Dragon.
Ooh, that's a lot of contact.
Closer.
That's a lot of contact there for the race lead, and now everybody's next to each other. They're going 3 wide into this turn. Oh god.
Oh, and I think that's Ace Boy having to take evasive action there at the back. He was very late on the brakes.
Okay, so
cut the corner.
Seems Pretorius and McKendry are fighting for the lead here, as everybody else is sorting back into their positions. So Joel now down to P4. That's not how he would have wanted that to go. He had a lot of contact there with McKendry. That was a big tap. And now everybody's back within the 1 second window. Even Janis Correas, who had dropped back just a bit at the start. But McKendry getting close to Pretorius here again. He doesn't want to give up the battle for the lead.
Everybody filing through the hairpin now, so we're single file now, but as you say, everybody is just about within a second of one another. Almost the entire grid is within a second of one another.
Icewind is really close to Dragon here for P7.
I'm going to guess Chief has had some kind of an incident further down the back there, possibly.
Yeah, it
maybe
seems like he. Oh, there's an
lost
end plate. I've just seen an end plate at the Wall of Champions. I don't know whose it was. I think it might have been Janis Correas. Janis Correas is missing an end plate. Or maybe he might have lost that at the race start. Actually, we saw somebody lose an end plate there, and he's been going a bit slower than the other cars.
Just trying to have a quick look down the order to see who has and who hasn't got damage. Crystals is missing an end plate. Gerla is also missing an end plate. Trying to get a good view on the others. So yeah, there's a handful of cars carrying damage. I think there's somebody spun at the back there. That's Max Spiltz has had a spin. So yeah, plenty of action here again.
Dragon getting very close here to Janis Correas. Ace Boy is having a bit of a moment out of the hairpin. So now Janis Correas is right behind him and trying to make a move down the straight. Both of them have DRS enabled, but I think Ace Boy might not be in the best position here, even though Janis Correas has the wing damage.
He's going to brake latest here.
It seems like it's Janis Correas. He's braking very late.
Icewind just drives straight over the corner there.
And that didn't look good for Dragon. I think Dragon just hit the Wall of Champions a bit there.
Oh no, oh okay, and I think we see Crystal's retiring in the pit lane there, and Gerla as well.
Yeah,
so,
both of them given up because of the wing damage now.
Yep, that's unfortunate to see. George is carrying wing damage as well. As you see, he's also missing it. There's a lot of end plates missing in this race.
There's also a lot of battles here in the midfield. From P5 down, pretty much everybody's fighting for position. And even at the front, the top 3 are still fighting here. Their hammer got really close to McKendry. Pretorius just took the fastest lap, I believe, so McKendry dropping back just a tiny bit each lap.
Very chaotic, as you say. Oh, a bit of a lock up there from. I think that might have been McKendry in the hairpin. Doesn't seem to have affected him too badly.
Joel, the man who took pole here from the feature race P8, he's gonna be struggling to keep these guys behind because everybody behind him is gonna have DRS now while he doesn't. So we see Janis Correas catching up quite well.
Oh, Joel has wing damage.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, that's the left end plate missing on his car, but then Correas behind him is missing his right end plate.
Yeah, together they make a full front wing.
Does anybody here not have that? Oh, there's a spin. Who's that? Oh no, that's Icewind in the first corner there. Just spins it on the entry.
Yeah, I think these cars were just a bit too close there. Maybe he couldn't take the best line, and struggle a bit to make the turn.
It's a very busy midfield this race.
Ace Boy in P6, who of course gained some positions in the feature race from the time penalties. Definitely doesn't have a time penalty yet. Meanwhile, Hammer and Joel in P3 and 4 do.
So just keeping an eye on this train here, as we've got Joel and Correas basically acting like a bit of a mobile chicane between them. slowing down Ace Boy, Dragon, and Futuristic, I think.
Oh, Dragon
Saxonidis
is
also
extremely
involved.
close. Dragon is making a move here down the inside of the hairpin.
Oh, he sends it and he makes it stick.
Yeah,
Ace Boy might
wonderful
get a better
move.
run on him on the having gone around the outside here, so he might.
But of course, both of them are gonna have the DRS because Dragon is close enough to Janice Correas here. Meanwhile, Janice Correas is making a move on Joel. Oh, that's a bit of a contact there with the wall and with the tires as well. Joel doesn't quite have enough room to move on the inside. Takes another penalty.
It'd be interesting to see who can drive where because.
And now Dragon is taking advantage of that.
Left.
Dragon is taking the inside and he's trying to make moves here, make use of the battle in front of him, and he's taking one of those positions. Definitely looking to get P4 from Janice Correa soon, and he's going to be on his way to the front as well.
Ace Boy looking like he very much wants to get involved in this as well. He's very much followed the back of Joel.
Meanwhile, at the front, McKendry has caught back up to Pretorius, or at least stayed close using the DRS, while Darehammer in P3 has dropped back out of the DRS window.
Oh, there's going to be a move here as Dragon comes past Janice Correas.
Yes, and he's on the inside. He brakes extremely late. Takes a bit of the inside curb there, but makes it stick for now. I don't know if that's a good move, because now Janice Correas is going to have the DRS on the main straight.
There is a yellow flag in that second sector now. It's Saxonidis has
Ooh, and Janice Correas tries to take it into the hairpin. Very wide line from Dragon in P5 there. And he's not going to have the DRS, I believe.
No, he doesn't. Correas has it instead, but it doesn't stop him trying to have a go down the outside here.
Janice Correas braking late though, keeping that position yet. And Joel goes into the pits. I think he's fixing his wing damage.
Spin there as well.
Oh, okay.
And tires.
Yeah. So maybe he didn't think there was going to be any chance to take points here with everybody breathing down his neck with the DRS. Dragon getting really close to Janice Correas again.
The amount of penalties we're having, it's all you need to do is just hang in there. There's every chance.
Yeah, we saw that with Ace Boy in the feature race. You just have to hang in there, drive consistently, and not get the penalties or wing damage, and you've pretty much got a good position already.
Absolutely. You see Tipsy Bob pitting now for a new front wing, and he's going to go into the super softs till the end of the race.
It seems like Dragon has learned his lesson now, because he doesn't overtake on this DRS straight, but stays really close to Janice Correas, and now he's going to try to make a move down the main straight instead. Taking that wide outside line around the hairpin again, but I think he might have gotten a bit of a better exit here this time, and he's gaining on Janice Correas very quickly. Down the outside he goes, and he's already passed before the end of the straight. So pretty easy move there, and he's up into P4 and now chasing after Darehammer, who has the time penalty.
So that means Ace Boy can now have a go, but he himself is under a lot of pressure from Futuristic as we speak.
Meanwhile, McKendry has caught up really well onto Pretorius. They're now within 4/10. As I say that, he's losing a bit of time there, but yeah, definitely close enough to make to launch an attack on with the DRS on the straights.
Also, the fight between those two is really going to help to hammer close that gap as well, which is currently standing at about 2 seconds. So Hammer will be hoping for a bit of scrapping up ahead in order to close that.
As Ocean Chief down in P16 is making moves on Zod.
Doesn't quite make the move stick just yet, but he's back in again with DRS and in the slipstream. Pulls onto what's going to be the outside of the hairpin here, and gets the move done before he arrives there as well. So good clean pass there.
Talking about DRS and slipstream, Ace Boy is going to have both of that now, and Futuristic behind him even more so with the double slipstream on Janice Correas.
Futuristic already pulling onto the inside. That was looking very defensive. I wonder if he's anticipating a dive from Nico Rosbot.
Oh, that's not the best exit for Ace Boy.
Futuristic had a brilliant line through the chicane there. He's all over the back of Ace Boy. And he goes down and he sends it down the inside of the first corner there.
Not quite enough yet.
Out of it.
As we're watching that, McKender is really close to Pretorius again. Every single time we go around the track, he's getting closer and closer, trying to get that P1 from him.
Frostbot is looking incredibly racy on the back of Futuristic now. Futuristic really needs to get this pass on Ace Boy if he wants to relieve that pressure.
However, Ace Boy still has the DRS on Janis Correas, so Janis Correas keeping this train behind him for now, and nothing's really happening because all of them have the DRS on each other.
Interestingly though, Ace Boy, Futuristic and Rosbot busy scrapping is actually allowing Correas to build somewhat of a gap. I mean, it's not a big gap of course, but there is a gap.
McKender's getting really close to Pretorius here. He's within 2/10 at the end of the straight. He might try to launch an attack into turn 1 if the chicane works out for him, and it does. Very good exit out of there. Pretorius struggling a bit. McKender, he thinks better of it. Doesn't make the move quite yet, but he's ever so closer now.
It's an interesting thing watching them coming down the start-finish straight to see who takes what line. Some drivers will pull right up to the side of the sort of pit wall, while other drivers will tend to stick to the outside of the track down that straight, essentially just creating a straight line from the exit of the chicane.
Yeah.
They're so tightly bunched in the midfield right now as well. That
Yeah,
Janis Correa's train.
It's only going to be 5 more laps now, so they're going to have to make their moves quickly, or they're going to be stuck behind Janis Correas till the end of the race. Meanwhile, I'm going to take a quick look at the penalties. It's 3 seconds for Der Hammer, the only one in the points positions with a penalty for now.
I must say, Janis Correas has actually driven incredibly well to be able to hold these people back with wing damage.
Oh, Ace Boy goes into the wall.
Oh,
Yeah,
no!
he kept it
That's a
consistent
big
for
hit.
now, but that's... Yeah, he's going to lose a lot of time because of that. And he completely breaks his wing off as well. I think that's the race over for him.
Oh, it's so unfortunate.
As Futuristic
as well,
picks up
after
3
such a drive.
seconds.
Such a good drive in the feature race as well. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's horrible to see.
And now Futuristic is making a move down the outside of Janis Correas into turn 1, caking the inside on the next turn. Ooh, that didn't look too good. Janis
Does he
Correas
slot
still
back in
keeping
though? Yes, he
P5 for now.
does. Yeah, but as Ace Boy comes into pit and yeah, retires. I think that was to be expected. And then there were 3. So once again down this DRS straight, things will settle down a little bit. We'll see Futuristic and Rosbot closing that gap once again. I think we might have a 3-way fight coming down the DRS straight down the back. Meanwhile, we've got Larson and Iceman just behind them actually, catching this trio. I think we're going to see a 5-way fight very soon.
Iceman extremely close to the back of Larson here, but losing a bit of time on the exit out of the hairpin.
There's another spin in the back there. I think that was Saxonidis this time. Wing damage once again, that's not going to help him.
Meanwhile, at the front, McKender's still within 4/10 of Pretorius. Both of those guys are managing that gap pretty well there, but I think McKender really wants to get past by now.
Yeah, this 3-way fight for 5th position, I think, is very soon going to merge with the 2-way fight for 8th position.
Yeah, Larson catching up pretty slowly there still, but definitely catching up. He's almost within the 1 second window, and as soon as that happens, they're going to catch up really quickly.
It must surely be any minute now. The rate that the 3 guys up ahead are fighting, they're slowing each other down.
And Janis Correas in front, of course, still with the wing damage, so he's not driving as quickly as he could possibly be driving. Futuristic diving down the inside! Oh, he's very far down the inside there.
Correas is going to get a better drive out of that corner though. The outside is definitely the line to be on.
But now with DRS, Futuristic might get another chance, but he has to defend against Nico Rosbot as well. All three of them taking the inside line here.
Oh, and Futuristic looks like he's got the move done. Nico Rosberg thinking about following him through there and decides to think better of it. Wise choice there. Meanwhile, Larson and Icewind still closing that gap. They're also nearly within that 1 second. As Futuristic is now ahead of Koreas, so it'll be interesting to see how quickly he can get away from this group, or if Koreas is going to get a chance to come back at him on the DRS section.
Yeah, Futuristic is definitely going to want to make quite a big gap here because he has a time penalty, so he's going to have to gain as much time as possible to not lose all of these positions because everybody's so close to each other. We do have 3 seconds for Der Hammer, Futuristic and Nico Rosberg for now, but a 9-second time penalty for Icewind, so he's not going to gain any positions from overtaking here.
This will be purely for pride then at the minute. He's still very close to Larson though, all the same. Close enough to possibly make a dive here.
And Janis Carreras managed to stay really close to Futuristic, and he still has the DRS on the main straight here. He might launch an attack. He got a really good exit there.
Larson and Icewind are now... It looked like he was... Yeah, Larson has DRS. So the 3-way and the 2-way fight comes a 5-way fight as Carreras looks like he's going down the inside of Futuristic. And he's made it.
And he does!
With wing damage. Wow.
Wonderful. And back into P5 he is. The train is still alive. And both of the guys behind him have time penalties, so Janis Carreras in a really good position here. Meanwhile, Larson still defending from Icewind. And Larson is back out of the...
McKenda's hit the wall! McKenda's hit the wall!
Oh!
He's following Pretorius and just... I think he must have just gotten the power just a little bit too early there.
And that seems like a lot of wing damage in the last lap as well. Der Hammer, 3-second time penalty though. So it's likely that Der Hammer is going to overtake him here. Yeah, he does. But McKenna only needs to stay within 3 seconds. He has 2 more turns to go, I think. So he really needs to hang in there and get that P2.
Yeah, that was such an odd incident. I think he just got on the power a little too early there and spun just before the DRS straight actually begins there and just tapped the wall. It was enough to take half his wing off.
Yeah, I think he was pushing very hard there to get past Pretorius by the end of the race.
Oh, and he spins again after coming round past the wall of champions. That wing is now completely gone.
And that means that Der Hammer is gonna take P3.
But he still jumps into second. What?
Yeah, he manages to go past... I think he managed to go past the start-finish line there, just about with that damage.
Unbelievable.
That is quite amazing.
And Icewind, I think, hits the World Champion or something now. Pits and retires. There's a DNF for him. Yeah, he's in the pit lane.
And Larson really benefiting from these time penalties. So Larson is taking P5 here at the end. Janis Carreras down to P6. And Futuristic and Nico Rosberg behind them taking the last points positions. That was a really close battle between these cars all race.
Yeah, there was a lot going on there, all the way up and down the field. As now have a migrating host situation, just hoping the server hangs in there long enough to make it to the end.
And make it to the end we did, so Pretorius winning another race here in the Formula 2 season, even though he's won the title already. Just extending that lead at this point and helping his team.
Well, he said last week that he wasn't going to slow down any at all. He was still going to push despite having the championship in the bag already. And he's staying true to that word.
Alright, so what do we think?
Driver of the day, yeah.
It's gonna be a tough one to judge because I think we've seen a lot of this happen in F2 where one driver has a really good race in one of them and then just makes a big mistake in the other race. But honestly, I think we might give it to Dragon here. He's had a really good drive in the feature race, kept it extremely consistent to take that race win at the end. He gained so many positions there, almost from the back to the front. And then in the sprint race, he wasn't the quickest, but he did manage to keep a consistent pace and make the overtakes happen to take P4 at the end. I think that is good enough for me to take Driver of the Day.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I was, I mean, after that first race, Ace Boy was very much in the running for that, but an unfortunate spin there in the sprint race. Yeah, just kind of finished his race for him. So yeah, I think Dragon, a deserving driver of the day there. 2 very clean races from him. Of course, that helps his battle with Makenda quite a bit as well. So although Makenda finished 2 places above in the second race, now that gap will have shrunk a little bit compared to what it was before. All to play for.
Yeah, so Makender and Dragon now having a really close battle for P2 in the Drivers' Championship, and both of them still collecting points for the team here.
Absolutely. Right. Interviews.
Anybody who wants to talk to us, head into the interview channel, and we'll pull you in here.
Couple guys here ready for us already. So we've got Ace Boy, Joel, Futuristic, and their Hammer. Let's start with Ace Boy, shall we?
Yes.
Hello, Ace Boy.
Hello.
It was a very good race for you in the feature race there. Very clean race. In fact, we did say there that possible contention for driver of the day with the clean race you did have, no penalties, and then taking advantage of everybody else's penalties at the end as you cross the line. But an unfortunate spin and a bump at the near enough the very end of the second race there. So what happened there? Was that just a spin or a tap? Or
Just too happy on the throttle, I believe. Yeah, I thought I could give it more on the throttle, but I guess I was wrong. I should have just kept with my own instincts as I was falling off. So yeah.
yeah, really unfortunate stuff. It's so easy done on that hairpin as well when you're trying to get the power down as quick as you can. But yeah, tell us about your first race. How did that feel?
Pretty good. I managed to get a good start in the rain. As in previous races, I even struggled in the dry to get a good start. I knew there was going to be a lot of penalties, so I tried to keep it as clean as possible. Did have 2 warnings, was kind of nervous on that, but managed to pull it through and get P3 at the end. So yeah, just had to keep a consistent pace and just be able to keep up, even though I was losing like 1 or 2 tenths.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of close racing before your spin in the sprint race there as well. I think you were fighting quite hard with, I believe it was Carius was actually holding the train up, and then you had who was in front? Somebody else in front of you there as well. So there's a lot of good racing there. I thought very clean racing as well.
Yeah. I thought I could make the move. I was going to get him on the straight, I believe, as I was really close at the back of him. But yeah, again, just too happy on the throttle. Good battles though. It was good fun.
Yeah, it looked great. It was really good fun to commentate on as well. It looked really good.
So yeah.
But yeah, no, great race from you. Yeah, I'm just. Where are we next week?
Right.
Actually,
next week we're in Japan for next week, last race of the season. So how are you feeling about the season finale in Japan then?
I hate the track. Yeah, not a massive fan of the track, even in F1. So F2 will be even worse. So yeah.
So you're looking to do a lot of practice then to maybe get the advantage over the others?
No, I'm not gonna practice F2. I never practice F2. F2 is just for fun. Yeah. Barely practice it. I just do 1 run to get a setup, and that's it.
Well then,
just to get
pretty good driving from you then. That's actually quite impressive to see you finish what you did in the first race with just a couple of minutes of practice before the race.
Yeah, I didn't want to waste time on this even. So yeah, well, it was just mostly for fun, but yeah, managed to pull it through and get good result.
Yeah, no, congratulations on your first race there, and yeah, and commiserations for your second race. But yeah, we'll let you go, and we'll see you next week in Japan then.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we can pull in. Should we pull in Joel for a chat?
Sure, let's do that.
So, Joel, welcome to the commentary booth.
Hello.
Obviously, has just quickly threw himself out and straight back into it there. I'm not sure what happened there.
I kind of felt like interviewing the other people first. No.
Yeah, no, it's so a wet race to start with there. Looked quite tricky. There's spins and bumps and whatnot all the way up and down the grid there. How was that for you?
It was all right, to be honest. It's my first ever lap F2 at Canada was that quali lap, so to actually get a lap in without spinning or whatever was pretty good. I got to P6, but it would have been P7 in the end. But I made sure it was P8 just because it's supposed to be fun, so I put myself on pole. I actually slowed down at the line, and Prey went into the back of me and said, "What are you doing?"
Oh.
Anyway, he still finished ahead of me because of penalties. But yeah, I mean, the first race was wet, right? And I was being far too cautious at the start. And Prey was behind me at the start. And we were in VC together, and he was telling me that I'm being too cautious on acceleration. I acknowledged it, and I didn't do anything about it because, knowing me, I'll just try and put my foot down a bit too much, and I'll spin. So I just kept to my driving style. For that.
I think that worked out there at the end.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, definitely very consistent drive to keep that P8 till the end there. With the time penalty, of course, it's the sprint race pole. Yeah, and you did a pretty good job hanging on to that pole. Well, at least hanging on to some of those positions at the start of the sprint race, but then
to last.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I mean, yeah, I knew I wasn't going to win it, so I just I try and defend it as much as I can whilst being clean, obviously. So, I mean, first lap was all right. Second lap, Makenda, I have to say, to be honest, a kind of a ridiculous move sending it there, and I had nowhere to go. I had to go over the grass like Vettel.
Yeah, so, I think we saw that on stream. There was a bit of a too close move there. I got
by 3 cars, and then from then on, I got wing damage from understeering in dirty air, and then I just kept getting more damage. So, just decided I'd had enough, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It did look a bit frantic in the second race. There was a few sort of little tight pockets and fights going on here and there, and a bit bumpy in some places. It's great fun to watch, though, at least.
Yeah.
But no, unfortunate for you there in that race. But no, like Oversteer says, you did really well to hang on to the positions at the beginning of it, at least when you started from pole there. And I mean, we know you're fairly new, I guess, should we say, to F2? Well, not so much new, but new to this F2 season anyway. So yeah, no, you did really well considering it was great fun to see.
Indeed.
So we're in Japan next week. Are you joining us for that? Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah. I mean, I love Japan in F1, and I'm got decent pace there, but I don't know that's got nothing to do with F2, to be honest. So we'll have to find out on my first lap, which will be the quali.
I think the S's at the very start could possibly be quite interesting in Japan, just with how understeery these cars are.
Yeah, and the Degmas as well. I'm pretty sure someone's going to go into the gravel on the left there.
Yep. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
We were just debating with Futuristic, actually, before you dragged us in, about whether 130R is going to be flat. So I'll find out.
Yeah, I would have thought so, but yeah, maybe. We'll see. I'm certainly looking forward to that one. Okay, well, we'll let you go back to the interview channel then. Thanks for coming and having a chat with us.
And join the charity event. Bye.
Yeah, I think we're going to show that video at the end again. So make sure you stick around at the end. We're going to show the promotional video again. For the charity event, we're raising money for charity, so don't miss that.
Yep, so who have we got next? I think we can drag in Crystals next. Hello, Crystals. Welcome to the commentary booth.
Hello.
So, yeah, some interesting couple of races there. Very wet to begin with in the first race. Dry second race, but very close sort of battles going on everywhere. I think we saw you spin a little bit in the second race and possibly pick up a bit of damage there as well. How were they for you?
I spun a lot in the first race, so it was a brilliant race for me. I mean, the formation lap was really good. And after I started to drive,
I mean, to be fair, we did see people spinning on the formation lap as well, so you did keep it clean there.
Sure, sure, it was funny. It was so funny, honestly.
I think we saw spins on both formation laps actually, both wet and dry. Somebody
Yeah.
spun on the dry formation lap as well.
Yeah.
But,
Also, I mean, my setup wasn't too good.
I was going to say you've had a couple of fast races recently, so yeah, it's strange
Yeah.
not to see you up there today.
I mean, yeah, it's happened, but it was a funny race.
Yeah, it was good to
I
watch
spun
as well.
like 10 times and the wind damage, so it wasn't for me the best race of my life.
Yeah, I think we saw was it a double retirement? I think from you and Gerla in the second race, wasn't it?
Double retirement.
Does
for
he
me.
just wing damage as well on Gerla? Is that why he
Yeah.
chose to call it a day there as well?
Yeah, I mean, second race, I wanted to continue, but after I had the red wind damage, so I decided to stop.
Yeah, there comes a point, I suppose, where you can't recover very easily, especially when it's closer towards the end of the race. But no,
Japan will be better.
yeah, I was gonna say you all set for Japan. Have you got any strategies, any plans for that?
I don't have, honestly, but I think will be a better race, also a lot of fight, I hope. I don't know how will be the first sector. Will be really hard for the F2 cars, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it costs a lot more understeer than the F1 cars. We were
Yeah.
saying to Joel, who was in here before you, that
so in
the
Canada,
S's at the start could be interesting.
Also in Canada, I mean, this race I had a lot of problem with the understeer, sometimes oversteer, so it wasn't easy to manage the car. Also, I saw Dragon was so fast this race.
Yeah, he did incredibly well this evening.
Yeah, also Hammer, first time in F2, if I remember well. He did a good race.
Yeah, very busy. There's a few people up and down the way that had yeah, pretty good performances. But yeah, no, it was good to see. But yeah, we'll let you get back to the interview room, and we'll see you next week. Yep.
Practice. I don't have school, so we can do finally.
So weekend of practice.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Well, I will let you go.
See you.
Cheers.
Right,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
coming. Okay. Next we have Futuristic.
Yes.
So pull him in next.
I'm gonna-
Hello, Futuristic. I think we
Hello.
just pulled you in mid sentence there, so apologies for that.
No, I was thinking, so it's fine.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm glad we never got that. Yeah, some action-packed racing there. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of lost with what went on in the first race with all the rain and stuff. There's a lot of spinning and a lot of bumping, but in the second race, it looked like he had some really good fights with, I think it was Nico Rosbot. Some very close driving there. So yeah, how were those races for you today?
Well, the first one was really tricky at the start of the race with the rain coming. And then I had a really nice battle with Nico Rosbot on the soft stint. And I tried to, and since I know that you get 2 points for the fastest lap, I saw I had the gap to P11. So I tried to get 1 extra point for the fastest lap in the first race, but I missed out by 8 thousandths on that one. So the strategy didn't work out the way I wanted, but it was a really nice battle with Nico for that race. And yeah, the second one was along the restraint behind Joel for the most of the time. And then like everyone was like we were 4 guys who were a sitting duck, basically. So yeah, but the racing was really fun, especially with the choreos on the closing stages.
Yeah, it was really close there in the closing stages. I think Curious, because he was carrying wing damage, holding everybody up, as you say. But yeah, it was brilliant to watch. It was actually really clean as well. Ace Boy, I think, was in amongst it there with these as well until he had an unfortunate spin out the hairpin. It looked like there was going to be a bit more action. A couple of times where I thought we were maybe going to get 2 or 3 wide coming into the corners, but yeah, I can imagine that would have been quite tiring to be focusing the whole time and trying not to touch anyone as you're trying to get past one another.
Yeah, especially into the last corner, it's super hard to go even side by side or even alone. It's super hard to avoid a warning or a penalty.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and the chicane.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's so
no.
narrow.
We saw a few people there actually running very wide, coming side by side into it, and then the guy on the outside would end up cutting the very last part of that chicane onto the start finish straight.
Yeah, I noticed that. I think it was Icewind who was in the train who missed his braking point, so was forced to go almost straight. But yeah, he didn't force anyone off track or did anything dangerous after it, so it's fine. I guess.
Just picked up a penalty for his troubles instead.
Yeah.
It was unfortunate. So yeah, we're in. I think we're in Japan, Suzuka next week. Is that a track you're looking forward to at all?
Not in F2 cars. It's like when we did Sandward. I think you will have the same answer for it. I rather prefer it in F1 cars than F2 if I had to choose. But yeah,
Funny because it's been a real mix of. I mean, we've asked everybody that question. It's been a proper mix of some people like the track and some people hate the track. There doesn't really seem to be much of an in between at all.
Yeah, I think the SS is going to be super tricky.
Yeah, very understeery, I think, with these cars. I think Joel was was saying before before we dragged him in that he was suggesting whether 130R would be flat or whether it would be a lift-off job for that one.
Yeah, I doubt it's flat. I think it's a lift.
So yeah, we'll we'll look forward to seeing that next week.
Yeah, but I'm gonna give it a try. So keep your eyes up.
Oh, excellent! We'll make sure we're watching. Cool. Well, we'll let you get back to it then. Thanks for coming and having a chat with us.
Yep. Thank you.
And we'll see you next week.
Yep. Bye.
Okay, so that leaves last but not least Der Hammer. Let's pull him in for a chat. Hello, Der Hammer. Welcome to the commentary booth. It's somewhere you're actually quite familiar with anyway, but I think this was your first Formula 2 race today in this season. Second, was it? Second. So
I raced Stanford, yeah.
Oh, that's right. So you did, yeah. So yeah, tricky race conditions in the first race there. Very wet. We saw a lot of sliding and a lot of spins, and even on the formation lap, a lot of people having a bit of trouble there. How did you cope with that?
Yeah, well, I started P3 and Lawson, I think, spun ahead of me. So I was like, oh, I'm going to get P1. And then, like, I think I span on entry of the hairpin because I brake too hard. And yeah, when you do that in the wet in these cars, your car starts to slide. So that was a bit silly. And then I had to come back from last. So yeah, in the wet, it was really tricky. But once I got it down, I think I had good pace there. So it wasn't too bad. It's just it's different.
I think very consistent once you had your rhythm in the dry then. At the end of the feature race and in the sprint race as well. I think you had a pretty lonely race in the sprint race even. At the start I think there were a few battles and you were getting past I believe it was Joel when there was a few battles there at the front. But then you were, I think, pretty far from everybody else there.
Yeah, it was Joel started on pole position, and then McKendra and Pretorius were obviously trying to get past. And then I think McKendra made a dive or something on Joel, and I think he wanted to give the position back. But of course, Pretorius and me were just pushing flat out, so it was a bit messy there. I think even Ace Boy got involved, but we all got through. And then I tried to basically follow Pretorius and McKendra for as long as I can, but they were just like 2-3 tenths faster than me, and I could keep up as long as I had DRS. But at some point, I lost DRS when I made some mistakes in the hairpin. Like on traction, it's really difficult. And yeah, once I got out of DRS, it was impossible to keep up. I was just like, I wasn't even that much slower, but it was just like 1/10, 1/10, 1/10. I think I finished at 2 seconds 5 from Pretoria, so it wasn't that bad. But yeah, they were just that bit too quick for me, and behind me there was nobody. So yeah, it was pretty lonely.
Yeah, still very clean racing though from you today. It's good to see you, coming along as well as you have been in the F2 series. So it's been great to watch and great to commentate on.
Yeah, it's fun cars, but difficult.
Yeah, very, as you say, very oversteer oversteer is the wrong word, but easy to lock the rear wheels up, which is a bit of an unusual feeling when you've just been driving F1 cars for the majority of the time. So it's scarily simple to spin the car as a result.
Yeah, definitely.
We're going to Japan next week for the last race of the season. Are you going to try and join us there? Or
Yeah,
what do you
I
think?
am. I definitely am. I think it's gonna be. I mean, it's a fun track, but the fast corners in these cars are gonna be pretty tricky to get down because of the understeer. And then I'm a bit afraid of the hairpin already because, like, on traction you get snap oversteer. So it's gonna be a bit tricky, and I'm wondering some corners that are flat in F1 are definitely not gonna be flat in these cars.
Yeah, that's
So,
the big question. Who's going to be flat coming down the back straight into 130R?
Yeah, I think it's possible, but it depends a bit on setup, and you don't want to sacrifice too much straight line speed as well, because even here there were people running like 5.9 wings, and I was running 2.6 in the dry. So that makes like that is like 4 or 5 tenths difference on the straight. So or
Yeah.
at least 3 tenths, I think. So yeah, it depends a bit on setup choices, but it'll
Funny
be
because it's one of
interesting.
those it's one of those tracks where you kind of have to make the choice, because there's enough straights on there that you could just go for a setup that favors the top speed, but then at the same time, you've got enough technical areas as well that you should really be
Yeah.
thinking about that. So you kind of have to, you find yourself almost favoring one over the other, and then having to drive defensively through one and aggressively through the other. So I think we're going to see a real mix up possibly of the grid for the final race, which will be quite fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I just want to say that I'm really impressed by how fast that McKenna and I mean, I know McKenna and Pretorius are really fast Tier 1 drivers, but yeah, when you drive behind it, you really you really notice how hard it is to keep up with those guys.
Yeah, it's really impressive watching them pulling the gaps that they're able to pull in the races there. It's crazy. Pretorius has been ridiculously fast all season.
Yeah, unbelievable, really. Really nice.
Guy's
Still.
an alien.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree.
Okie dokie. Well, yeah, I think that's pretty much us. So we'll let you go, and hopefully see you next week for Japan for the last race.
Yeah, see you guys. Thank you.
Yep, thanks very much.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so I think that draws this evening's action to a close. I think we'll leave you with the charity message that we have, of course, for our charity event that's coming up very soon.
Yeah, so that, of course, the penultimate round here of Formula 2. Just one more race next week, I believe. And then we're going to see the end results. We, of course, already have the champion in Pretorius, but people are still fighting behind. Dragon and McKenna are still fighting for P2. And we're going to see another interesting race next week, I'm sure.
Absolutely, very much looking forward to that.
So
okay.
All right.
Yeah.
We're going to leave you with...
Sorry, on you go. I'll stop talking.
All right, we're gonna leave you with our charity message in just a second, and yeah, feel free to join us again for Formula 2 next week, same time, and also check out the 2 SRL races tomorrow.
Yep,
All right,
and,
thanks you.
We'll see you guys next week.
Yes, thank you for tuning in, and see you next week.
Good night.
At 16, I wanted to die. Now I'm 22 and sometimes I still want to. Only I'm afraid to try to. No one understands. You don't understand what it feels like to live in this body. This body is a vessel, struggling to contain all of my pain. I have a lot of pain, more than you realize, more than one's shoulders could bear. See, it started when I was 5, 6, 7. I watched my family feud, and there was nothing I could do as a child. As a child, surrounded by so much anger. At 9, I fell in love with dancing. But fat kids don't dance, they said. I was body shamed, and their words cut me deeper than knives could on bare skin, and I've held on to those scars for years. Just long enough to starve myself at age 12. At age 12, I ate only what was necessary to feel skinny. Thinking maybe I can just shed off the memories. At 16, I wanted to die. And now I'm 22 and sometimes I still want to. Only I'm afraid to try to. Would you miss me if I did? Would you feel sorry for bullying me like you did? Would you? I know that I will get better. I'm not sure when or how, but I will. One day.